Talk about CeeDee Lamb. He is one of two NFL players with at least 1,100 receiving yards.
Yeah.
In each of the last 3 seasons, can you name the other?
Yeah, it's interesting because, the first thought is Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, but Jefferson missed a lot of games a couple years ago with injury. Jamar Chase, he did, and also Joe Burrow did a couple years ago. Travis Kelce didn't get there last year. My guess is someone with consistent high-level production and consistent health that nobody really thinks about too much, and it's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
We're back in business, baby. That is correct.
Amon-Ra
St. Brown is correct. By the way, CeeDee Lamb has actually done it in 4 consecutive seasons.
Really good player.
Amon-Ra St. Brown has done it in 3 consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
Scored that one in favor of Graziano. 24-14, so he's up the touchdown and the field goal. Now, according to ESPN Bet Sportsbook, the 4 most popular NFL win total over bets are the Bears over 8.5, the Patriots over 8.5, which I'll admit surprises me, the Lions over 10.5, and the Cowboys over 7.5. The public loves all of those teams to improve substantially from last year. So let's run them quickly here if we can. Lewis, the Bears finished with 5 wins last year. The total is 8.5. Are you convinced they're going to win 9 games this season?
Yes, I am. And we talked about it in the first hour. I think the offensive line is markedly improved. I think the wide receiver core, starting from the inside out, from tight end to the slot out to wide receiver positions, is markedly improved. I think the defense under Dennis Allen is going to look. Dennis Allen's one of the best teachers of defense in the NFL, and Ben Johnson will put it all together. And Caleb Williams, we will start comparing him to Jayden Daniels this year on an even playing field. I think they do win 8.5 or more this year for sure.
Graz, the one that surprises me, the Patriots were 4-13 last year. Are you convinced they're going to go over 8.5 wins?
I'm not. I can understand why people are excited about Mike Vrabel and what they saw from Drake May in the second half of last season. I understand. I just feel like this is a roster that needed a lot of work. And while they did a lot of significant work this offseason, I don't think it was a one-season fix, especially in a division with the Buffalo Bills. I think it would be a pretty big leap, even for Mike Vrabel, as great a coach as he is, to get to 9 wins.
The one I understand is the Cowboys. They won 7 games last year and played a lot of it without their quarterback. Lewis, are you convinced they go over the total of 7.5?
Yeah, I do believe that. And one of the reasons why I really believe that is forget the wide receiver positions in addition to George Pickens and Glenn along with CeeDee Lamb. And obviously Dak coming back is important. I think really the key to this football team, obviously there's defensively, they need to be able to show that they can stand up to the physicality that teams always attack them with down the stretch. But their offensive line has the ability to be a dominant offensive line if guys like Tyler Guyton, Tyler Booker, those 2 guys in particular, along with Tyler Smith, can wind up being the kind of road graders that I used to play against when I played against the Cowboys in the 90s, when they absolutely just snatched your will from you every single game. If those 3 dudes right there can wind up hitting their potential, this football team could be really dangerous. It really could. I just happen to be skeptical in their own division because of the improvements that I think Washington is going to make and the fact that Philadelphia, their whole offense returns.
Yes. So
you tell me what really, why we're knocking them down.
I didn't realize how many guys on the Dallas offensive line were named Tyler.
Yeah, they got a lot of high draft picks named Tyler who play offensive line. But it is a fella named George that has got a lot of people talking right now. Dak Prescott, the quarterback, talking about the challenge of keeping George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb satisfied with their targets each week. Here's what he said.
Those are 2 unselfish guys, and truly they want to win. And when you're not winning and you're not getting the ball, trust me, I understand the frustration. So I'm never going to be mad at them for frustrating about wanting to win and wanting the ball.
So let's start with the obvious. None of that is true. It's the kind of thing that quarterbacks say. There are no unselfish wide receivers. None of them don't care about getting the ball. It is what they live for. It is going to be interesting to watch that dynamic of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
I think so. But again, I think they have a setup there that they can get the best out of George Pickens with. Because, look, I don't talking to people in Pittsburgh, George Pickens wasn't like a miserable human being to be around every day. There were things he did in practice and on the field that frustrated coaches because it showed, in and out in terms of his attention to detail and all that kind of stuff. But I think, with Dak Prescott, he'll be the best quarterback George Pickens has had, I think fairly easily at this point. And I think, what the Cowboys would tell you is the leadership Dak provides is something that Pickens hasn't had from a quarterback in his time in Pittsburgh because there's been so much turnover. And he's got 1 year left on his contract. He knows if he wants to get paid big as a wide receiver, and that means big these days, he has to be outstanding this year.
Ding, 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 ding. I mean, to me, Lewis, that's the key. Go get a guy in a contract year. To me, there is no greater motivator. This is not meant as a criticism. There's no greater motivating tool that you could possibly have.
Yeah, I'm not arguing against it. I mean, we've seen it since the beginning of time that guys wind up having tremendous years and are on their best behavior in a contract year because they understand what's at stake. And I've also been on the other side of it from a front office perspective where you're sitting there and you're knowing, what this guy is doing everything he's doing because he knows that he wants to get paid. And he knows that's the only way he's going to. Now, what happens when we do pay him then? And since this show and since this conversation isn't about what's Dallas going to look like in 2026, well, then, maybe in 2025, we get the very, very best version of George Pickens. And that's not trying to be disrespectful. That's just being honest about it. Yeah. You know why I constantly keep trying to downplay the expectations surrounding Dallas? Is because of what everyone else in the division still has at their disposal. In particular, Washington. And the improvements that they're making. And let's not forget about Jayden Daniels. Let's not forget that this guy is the caliber of player that really is getting the kind of talk surrounding him that Patrick Mahomes got when he was a rookie, when he had his first year starting. He's having that kind of impact on this football team, and we can't discount that. We just can't. In Philadelphia, I would really caution people to all of a sudden start writing off Philadelphia because of some of the things that they've lost. I would really caution against that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to write off Philadelphia except the 21 years of history that says they can't win the division 2 years in a row. But other than that, they should be a very good team. The Washington Commanders, very good team. But again, Pickens, by the way, George Pickens, I want to make the point, he's 24 years old.
Yeah.
Like not a finished product. There still could be the learning and maturing to be done there. But Dallas, I think, getting Dak Prescott back, he missed half of the season, and they still won 7 games. He makes a huge, huge difference for that team.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but we're not paying enough attention to the Cowboys. As we continue, the Brunson burner. Our coach is going to tell you exactly why Jalen is so difficult to stop. We're coming right back. You're watching Get Up on ESPN.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các bạn nha. Mình sẽ giới thiệu cho các bạn về kênh của mình và những video của mình cho các bạn biết được là kênh của mình làm video sáng tạo nội dung về chủ đề gì. Video của mình sẽ làm xuyên suốt về chủ đề cắt dán này, mình sẽ cắt dán những sản phẩm như thế này cho các bạn xem. Còn đây là những